exemplify the idea behind their company in the name of their company. This one today is one of those companies that we're talking about, and this has to do with what we're talking about as well, and we'll see what in just a minute. But if you think about it, fantasy flight games, right? If you're playing X-Wing, you're playing a game of fantasy with flight, right? This one is QSF, Quick, Simple, Fun Games. It is a game that is quick, simple, and fun. And today we're talking about, as the bubbles gave away, Bubblee Pop. Bubblee Pop, what is that? Let's dive in and find out what this is and why you should be playing it. Spoiler, you should be playing this right now. So here's the elevator pitch for a game like Bubblee Pop. What is Bubblee Pop? Well, here's how it works. Remember those arcade games like Snood that you love playing, where you shoot the bubble up and you line up 4 of the same color and they pop, and then they start off a chain reaction that pops more and more and more? That has been relegated to the iOS. So now QSF thought, hey, why don't we, Alexei Rudikov and Grégory Oliver said, why don't we make one of those games into a board game? Now, first blush, you might think that's a terrible idea. Why would you take something that's fast and exciting like an app that's made on timers and explosions and mousetrap type chain reactions into a board game? How can you capture that same excitement? So what they did was they set it head to head and made you play against someone across the table. Let's see how this game Bubblee Pop works, because I normally talk about games like this. But today we're talking about one. Look at this art. Is that not adorable? Bubbles popping, Bubblee Pop. Let's take a look at what makes Bubblee Pop pop, as it were. First off, here's what you get inside of Bubblee Pop. Here's the components: box, bag, board. If I could think of a way for the instructions to have a B in it, I would, for alliteration, but we'll go with bulletin, right? Box, bag, board, bulletin. Instructions, really simple. 2 languages, so this book is even half as thick as it looks, right? It's a tiny little book. Inside of here, though, is where the magic is. These little bubbles, they bubbly creatures. Each one is a different color. Obviously, there's different faces on each color too, because they could have been lazy and went with just the one, but no, they didn't. Look at that. Are these adorable? Different colors, ones that do different things. So let's find out how you play this game, and we'll talk about, is it worth playing? So here's the 2-player game set up just like this. You start with 4 black bubble pop creatures on your side and 4 on that side for the normal game. The other person will sit there, you'll sit here, obviously. These in the middle are what is going to be coming next. If you remember any of these Snood type games, you can always tell what's going to be coming up there. So this kind of gives you an idea for strategy. So what you'll do is, normally after a turn, there'll be 2 of these missing. So you'll refill and then you'll go from there. So the phases go like this. On the first turn, you will pick any 2, either horizontally or vertically, to swap if you want. Now right now there's not a whole lot of benefit to doing this, except now, if I wanted to switch these 2, I could. Then you pick 2 to drop, either 2 horizontals or 2 verticals. So you could drop the 2 just like this, and they fall down just like that. The other person will reach in, grab 2 Bubblee Pop creatures. They'll fill their slots any way they want. They will also get to rearrange 2 if they'd like to. Not really any need to right now, obviously, except maybe again here, right? And fall into that slot. And then play continues. You say, well, that seems really simple. You're right, it is. But here's what happens. Okay, for instance, we're going to have a pop right now. So I'm going to switch these 2, and then they're going to fall just like that. Well, then this happens. Pop, pop, pop. Doesn't make that sound effect. That was my mouth. Falls down just like this, at which point you get to use the red special power. The red special power is written here for reference on the inside of the box, but there's a much better detailed version of what each power does here on the instruction manual. Red lets you swap 2 horizontally or vertically adjacent bubblies on the opponent's planet. So I would get to mess around with these 2, doing something like this, which would mess with his order. Now, here's the thing. A few more rules about placement. Let's just say this would have happened right here. I'm trying to get something going here. Here we go. Let's say this is what happened, okay? And yeah, let's say I dropped it like this. So I chose to drop here. Boom, boom, these pop, right? Pop. This falls, boom, these pop. Chain reactions occur like that. Then I would be able to use the red's power and the green's power. You do not have to use either of them. You can use them both. Green is swap 2 horizontally or vertically. Horizontally, I'm not even seeing that word. It's not there. Adjacent bubblies on your own planet. If one or more matching lines are created by this movement, each with at least 3 bubblies of the same color, send all of those bubblies to your scoring area and trigger the powers in any order. So the way the game ends, one person can be put out basically if they fill up their side and can't empty them. You say, what about these black ones that start down here? They look so frowny. Here's the deal with them. No matter how many of those you have, doesn't matter if you have 3 in a row touching in an orthogonal line, doesn't matter. They cannot be blown up that way. The only way to remove them is by one of the special powers back here, which is yellow. Send one of your free bubblies to the scoring area. A bubbly is considered free if no other bubbly is on top of it. Basically, is how that works. The game immediately ends when the sky cannot be completely filled. So if you run out of bubblies in the bag, or if you ultimately, the game also ends if the planet is full and the player has no valid way. That player immediately loses the game. So I would lose here. You do not score. You only score in the case of running out of bubblies in here. You score based on whatever you have over here in your scoring area, including the black ones. So right now, this would force a loss. And that's it. That's how you play the game. It's so simple. It's so easy. But Bubbly Pop is what it is. So as you know, Bubbly Pop is a little bit outside of my wheelhouse when it comes to types of games that I would pick up and play if I went to the friendly local game store. And that is my own myopia, my own fault, my own blindness in gaming, because this game is a real treat. Carl and I played this, and it's really, really fun. The name of the game company is QSF, Quick, Simple, Fun Games. There's a reason for that. This game is quick, it is simple, and it's fun. Plays 1 to 2 players only. That's the one caveat. It does play 1. You can play this like an arcade game or like an app, and that's really cool. 30 minutes, that's pretty accurate. I would say it's probably less than 30 minutes because you're strategically doing things, you're strategizing. If you cause things to fall, and there's red ones that are on the outside of that, anything touching a 3 of the same color, when it blows up too. So even if you have 1, 2, 3, and then 1 over here, they'll all blow up. So little nuances and strategies like that. It's a little bit more difficult than it appears because you have to know, okay, well, if I switch these 2 up here on the top row, then they're gonna fall like this, and what about next turn, and what if they switch something, or what if they get a special powers? This is a lot deeper of a game than it may appear at first blush. It's very simple, it's very quick, it's very fun. Bubbly Pop, it's a great game. You should try this, especially if you like those apps, if you like the Snood, any of those kind of arcade games are classic. This is a really fun one, and it does what it set out to do. It captures that feel in a board game, which is pretty shocking because a lot of times when you try to cash in on the idea of let's make one of those type of games into a board game, it takes all the beauty of those games and muddles it up and slows it down and takes all the fun out of it. This doesn't do that. This manages to capture the charm and love, there's that word charm, the charm of this type of game into this very small package, book bag sized, right? Pretty close. Pop this out, play it really fast, 2 players, or I didn't show you in the instructions. It shows different modes, solo mode setups. So there's different levels you can play through, like a campaign, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up through 20, including boss levels up here. So really neat idea. It actually seems to be a lot of thought put into that solo game, not just tacked on. It's almost like the 2-player game is the alternate and the 1-player game is the main mode, but couldn't sell a game like that as easy. So Bubbly Pop, you should check it out. It's really fun. I definitely recommend it. So until next time, you're probably thinking, Brian, why are you wearing a hat? No, I'm not cashing in on Vassal's gimmick. What I'm doing is, it's been a horrible tornado-ish tropical storm down here in Alabama, and didn't really have time to do my hair amongst all the wetness. It's been crazy. So until next time, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, all that kind of stuff at The Latest Retro. We will see you next time with either Century or Anachrony. Can't decide, but both are going to be great.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.